What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Cosmic Reactions. Appreciate y'all checking out my last video, leaving comments. Y'all give me motivation to do another one. I wasn't supposed to post till tomorrow, but I seen this video and I figured it'd be interesting to check out. It's the Godfather of AI, on AI exceeding human intelligence and it trying to take over. And it's by BBC Newsnight. Alright, let's check it out.
Everybody I know who's an expert on AI believes that they will exceed human intelligence. It's just a question of when. In between 5 and 20 years from now, there's a...
My bad, I gotta turn this volume down just a little bit.
the probability of about a half that we'll have to confront the problem of them trying to take over.
I began by asking Geoffrey Hinton whether he thought the world is getting to grips with this issue or if he's concerned as ever.
I'm still as concerned as I have been, but I'm very pleased that the world's beginning to take it seriously. So in particular, they're beginning to take the existential threat seriously, that these things will get smarter than us.
Isn't it a little too late for that, though? I mean, okay, good, we're taking it seriously. I feel like a lot of people knew it was a threat right off the break, you know? It's just crazy because it's too late. There ain't nothing we could do about it. You know, everybody ain't gonna rise up as one. It's gonna take them taking over the world. And what can we do when they start doing that? We'll be screwed. Our military, what can they do against an army of robots that can build themselves type thing like that? They would have to nuke us all, and I don't even know if that will work.
And we have to worry about whether they'll want to take control away from us. That's something we should think seriously about, and people now take that seriously. A few years ago they thought it was just science fiction.
And from your perspective, from having worked at the top of this, having developed some of the theories underpinning all of this explosion in AI that we're seeing, that existential threat is real?
Yes. So some people think these things don't really understand. They're very different from us. They're just using some statistical tricks. That's not the case. These big language models, for example, the early ones were developed as a theory of how the brain understands language. They're the best theory we've currently got of how the brain understands language. We don't understand either how they work or how the brain works in detail, but we think probably they work in fairly similar ways.
What is it that's triggered your concern?
It's been a combination of two things. So playing with the large chatbots, particularly one at Google before GPT-4, but also with GPT-4, they're clearly very competent. They clearly understand a lot. They have a lot more knowledge than any person. They're like a not very good expert at more or less everything.
That's because they got access to literally everything. You know, they got our whole internet to pull from. And who knows how they programmed them or how they made them to begin with. Oh man, we're just headed for destruction, and there just is nothing we could do about it. It would take our government shutting it down, and that ain't gonna happen because there's too much benefits in it for them. And that's just not just our government. It's all the governments around the world, you know, all the countries who are working on AI when they could be helping countries who are starving, who can't eat, who have to fight to get a meal every night, you know, who have to protect their kids or living in huts. I mean, come on, man. And not to mention in our own country, how many homeless people we got. There's better ways to spend this money. And what, they're just going to come and take over our jobs first. And then they'll try to tell us something like, oh, it'll make it better for you. You'll be able just to kick back and relax and enjoy your life. But how are we going to pay our bills and things like that? If it comes down to that, it'll probably be we have to own a robot and send it to work, to send it to do a job, like something like that. But they definitely ain't just doing it to help us. Be like, oh, they're taking over all the jobs so y'all can just relax. Yeah, I don't believe that. Sorry to go on a little rant, but the subject bothers me, man. A lot of people are only worried about the benefits, which is crazy.
So that was one worry. And a second was coming to understand the way in which they're a superior form of intelligence, because you can make many copies of the same neural network. Each copy can look at a different bit of data, and then they can all share what they learned. So imagine if we had 10,000 people, they could all go off and do a degree in something, they could share what they learned efficiently, and then we'd have 10,000 degrees. We'd know a lot then. We can't share knowledge nearly as efficiently as different copies of the same neural network can.
Okay, so the key concern here is that it could exceed human intelligence, indeed the massive human intelligence. Very
few of the experts are in doubt about that. Almost everybody I know who's an expert on AI believes that they will exceed human intelligence.
I feel like they already have. Have they not exceeded human intelligence? Maybe not our instincts and things like that yet, but I'm sure it'll get there. And I know they can't feel things like we can, but I don't know. I was just watching this video earlier where they were talking about they had to destroy 2 robots, and this was actually a news clip because they were writing their own code. That's crazy. You know, it wouldn't even be hard for them to take over if they wanted to. You know, our whole world is just ran off of computers. If we didn't have electricity and all that, we'd be back in the Stone Age, and a lot of people wouldn't be able to handle that.
It's just a question of when.
And at that point, it's really quite difficult to control them.
Well, we don't know. We've never dealt with something like this before. There's a few experts, like my friend Yann LeCun, who think it'll be no problem. We'll give them the goals. It'll be no problem. They'll do what we say. Yeah. They'll be subservient to us. There's other experts who think absolutely they'll take control. Given this big spectrum of opinions, I think it's wise to be cautious. I think there's a chance they'll take control, and it's a significant chance. It's not like 1%, it's much more.
Could they not be contained in certain areas, I don't know, scientific research, but not, for example, the armed forces?
Maybe, but actually if you look at all the current legislation, including the European legislation, there's a little clause in all of it that says that none of this applies to military applications. Governments aren't willing to restrict their own uses of it for defence.
I knew that.
There's been some evidence, even in current conflicts, of the use of AI in generating thousands and thousands of targets.
Yes.
I mean, that's happened since you started warning about AI. Is that the sort of pathway that you're concerned about?
I mean, that's the thin end of the wedge. What I'm most concerned about is when these things can autonomously make the decision to kill people. So, robot soldiers.
Yeah.
And those are
drones
oh, they're definitely coming. They're probably already here.
Conventions to regulate them.
Our government don't tell us nothing, man. And if we find out something, it's, you know, it's been going on for years before we find out. I'm sure they already have robot soldiers. Oh my goodness, man. I don't know. This is just a crazy subject. Let me rewind a little bit so y'all don't miss nothing. My bad. I should have been doing that all along.
Maybe we can get something like Geneva Conventions to regulate them, but I don't think that's going to happen until after very nasty things have happened.
And there's an analogy here with the Manhattan Project and with Oppenheimer, which is if we restrain ourselves from military use in the G7 advanced democracies, what's going on in China, what's going on in Russia?
Yes, it has to be an international agreement. But if you look at chemical weapons, the international agreement for chemical weapons has worked quite well.
I mean, do you have any sense of whether the shackles are off in a place like Russia?
Well, Putin said some years ago that whoever controls AI controls the world.
That's true.
I imagine they're working very hard. Fortunately, the West is probably well ahead of them in research. We're probably still slightly ahead of China, but China's putting more resources in. And so, in terms of military uses of AI, I think there's going to be a race.
Sounds very theoretical, but this argument, this thread of argument, if you follow it, you really are quite worried about extinction level events.
So we should distinguish these different risks. The risk of using AI for autonomous lethal weapons doesn't depend on AI being smarter than us. That's a quite separate risk from the risk that the AI itself will go rogue and try and take over. I'm worried about both things. The autonomous weapons is clearly going to come. Yeah. Whether AI goes rogue and tries to take over is something we may be able to control or we may not, we don't know. And so at this point, before it's more intelligent than us, we should be putting huge resources into seeing whether we are going to be able to control it.
What sort of society do you see
We're not
evolving?
going to be able
Which
to.
jobs?
Like, there's no question about it, man. They'll take the things we tell them literally. I mean, this is my opinion. Let me just put that out there. But anyway, say for instance, they want to clean up the earth, and they tell the robots to clean up the earth by any means, whatever. Just don't stop till the earth is clean, something like that, until it's, can last another freaking million years or whatever. They're going to see us as a problem because we are the problem. We're the reason the earth is dying and there's not as many trees, and there's building everywhere. There's hardly any space. I mean, there's plenty of space left, but all the beautiful land we're just tearing up and building over is crazy. And a robot giving the order, and I know this is probably far-fetched, but we thought Terminator was far-fetched, and I feel like we're headed that way. But they take that order literally and decide we're the problem and they got to exterminate us. Something like that. And that's just an example. I mean, there could be millions of ways it could happen, but I don't see how it won't happen if they keep trying to make it smarter and smarter and smarter the way they are. With that quantum chip and all that, they just need to chill and just be happy with what they got. But that ain't gonna happen ever. But anyway, finish this video.
Will still be here.
Yes, I'm very worried about AI taking over lots of mundane jobs, and that should be a good thing. It's going to lead to a big increase in productivity, which leads to a big increase in wealth. And if that wealth was equally distributed, that would be great.
Right.
But it's not going to be.
In
the systems we live in, that wealth is going to go to the rich and not to the people whose jobs get lost. And that's going to be very bad for society, I believe.
So
it's going to increase the gap between rich and poor, which increases the chances of right-wing populists getting elected.
So to be clear, you think that the societal impacts from the changes in jobs could be so profound that we may need to rethink the politics of, the benefit system, inequality,
Absolutely, yes.
universal basic income?
Yes, I certainly believe in universal basic income. I don't think that's enough, though, because a lot of people get their self-respect from...
My bad. Anybody know what universal basic income is? I assume that's where everybody makes the same amount of money. I'm just guessing there, but if y'all know, let me know in the comments, please.
The job they do. And if you put everybody on universal basic income, that solves the problem of them starving and not being able to pay the rent, but it doesn't solve the self-respect problem.
So what, you just the government needs to get, it's not how we do things in Britain. We tend to sort of stand back and let the economy decide the winners and losers.
Yes, actually I was consulted by people in Downing Street, and I advised them that universal basic income was a good idea.
And this is, you said 10 to 20% risk of them taking over.
Yes.
Are you more certain that this is going to have to be addressed in the next five years?
I feel like it's more than that, but he's smarter than me. So
in between 5 and 20 years from now, there's a probability of about a half that we'll have to confront the problem of them trying to take over.
Are you particularly impressed by the efforts of governments so far to try and rein this in?
I'm impressed by the fact that they're beginning to take it seriously. Yeah. I'm unimpressed by the fact that none of them is willing to regulate military uses. And I'm unimpressed by the fact that most of the regulations have no teeth.
Do you think that the tech companies are letting down their guard on safety because they need to be the winner in this race for AI?
I don't know about the tech companies in general. I know quite a lot about Google because I used to work there. Google was very concerned about these issues. And Google didn't release the big chatbots. It was concerned about its reputation if they told lies. But as soon as OpenAI went into business with Microsoft, and Microsoft put chatbots into Bing, Google had no choice. So I think the competition is going to cause these things to be developed rapidly. And the competition means that they won't put enough effort into safety.
Parents, talk to their children, give them advice on the future of the economy, what jobs they should do, what degrees that they should do. It seems like the world's being thrown up in the air by this, by the world that you're describing. What would you advise somebody to study now, to kind of surf this wave?
I don't know, because it's clear that
there's no point.
A lot of mid-level.
Doesn't matter what you study. If they're going to take over our jobs, then they're going to take over our jobs. There won't be a job that's safe. I mean, even the people that have to build the robots, shoot, robots can do that too. They can build themselves, you know. I'm sure that it'll get to the point where they can be doctors. Man, that's just a scary thought. Scary, scary thought. I hope I'm long gone by then. I hope my daughter never has to see that either.
Level intellectual jobs are going to disappear. And if you ask which jobs are safe, my best bet about a job that's safe is plumbing. Because these things aren't yet very good at physical manipulation. That'll probably be the last thing they're very good at. And so I think plumbing is safe for quite a long time.
Driving, that's
not driving, no. Driving, but no, that's hopeless. That's been slower than we expected. Journalism might last a little bit longer, but I think these things are going to be pretty good journalists quite soon. Probably quite good interviewers too.
Okay, well.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, guys.
What's up?
Hi, Jira. We brought you here today to let you know that we made the business decision to switch to ClickUp.
Where the heck is my
Your
mouse?
performance has been decreasing
Why is
over
it
the last
so
few
tiny?
quarters. There's no.
Oh, that's the end.
How would you describe?
Okay, I appreciate y'all chilling with me and watching the video. If y'all don't mind, I want to show y'all this other little 9-minute video. I didn't get to see it yet. I watched the first couple minutes. That's where I heard that news clip I was talking about. Hold up. All right, ready?
Facebook has enacted an emergency shutdown of 2 artificial intelligence programs. The social media giant leapt into action after it discovered the 2 programs were writing their own code.
Imagine a world where robots not only clean our homes and drive our cars, but also think, create, and make decisions that shape society itself. It sounds like the plot of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is no longer science fiction. We are edging closer to a world where artificial intelligence, AI, isn't just a tool, but a force that could surpass human intelligence. The question on everyone's mind is,
Terminator.
will
That's
robots
crazy.
one day outsmart us? And even scarier, could they eventually take over the world? Artificial intelligence is already a huge part of our lives, and it's evolving at a breakneck pace. From the virtual assistants on our phones to the algorithms that recommend what we should buy, AI is becoming indispensable in our daily routines. But as AI advances, there's both excitement and fear about where this technology could take us. Could we one day create machines that think and act on their own? Machines that are smarter than us? Today, we're going to dive into this fascinating and somewhat terrifying future to see just how far AI has come, where it's heading, and what that means for humanity. Let's start with where AI is right now. It wasn't long ago when virtual assistants like Apple's Siri or Amazon's Alexa seemed revolutionary. Having a voice-activated system that could tell you the weather, play music, or answer a quick question felt like a glimpse into the future. But that was just the beginning.
Dang.
Now, AI systems can do much more than answer trivia questions. They can create art, write complex essays, and even hold realistic conversations. Take GPT-4, for example, which is capable of generating human-like text responses based on vast amounts of data. It can even create stories, solve maths problems, and provide insights into complicated issues. And we're still only scratching the surface.
Have y'all messed with ChatGPT much? I used it once or twice just to see, what it could do. But I didn't really go in too deep. I told it to write a song, I think, from the perspective of somebody. I don't remember. It was a while back when it first came out. I thought it was really cool, but dang, it seems like it's come a long way since I looked at it.
What researchers are aiming for next is something called artificial general intelligence, or AGI. This is where things get interesting, and a little scary. Unlike the AI we use today, which is designed for specific tasks, AGI would have the ability to learn and think like a human across any subject. Essentially, it would be capable of understanding, learning, and applying knowledge in a way that's not limited to a single function. It wouldn't just be able to drive a car or beat a human at chess. It could do both, and much more. That sounds exciting, right?
No.
But what happens when AGI becomes smarter than us?
Because robotics is based on computer science, some singularity is to be expected. Singularity in robotics refers to a condition in which some directions are barred by the robot's end effector.
This leads to the idea of the technological singularity. Now, if you haven't heard of the singularity, it's a concept that's been debated.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do.
Sorry,
Day one,
guys.
he would install Pi on his computer without spending
Yeah,
a
I
dime.
ain't doing all that.
by science.
I forgot what a dude just said. Give me one
It's a
second.
concept that's been debated by scientists and futurists for years. The singularity
Oh, the singularity. Yeah, I've heard of it plenty of times. I never really understood it, though, to be honest with you. If anybody could explain it in an easy way to understand, if that's even possible, please do.
is this hypothetical moment in the future when AI becomes so advanced that it triggers an explosion of unstoppable technological progress. Think of it as the point of no return, where machines become so intelligent they can improve themselves at an exponential rate. AI would start creating even more intelligent versions of itself, and eventually we humans would no longer be able to keep up. It's like a runaway train of innovation. Some experts believe that once we hit this singularity, AI will start redesigning itself faster than we can comprehend. This has led some of the world's greatest minds to sound the alarm. Elon Musk, for instance, has compared AI to nuclear weapons, warning that it could become more dangerous than anything we've ever created. And Stephen Hawking said AI could be the best or worst thing ever to happen to humanity. So could robots really surpass us and become the dominant force on Earth? And if so, would they be a threat?
Of course.
Waymo driverless car. Wow. What a...
I would not even get in that thing. Like, I wouldn't even let a Tesla drive me by itself, you know. That's probably... No, that's not a Tesla. That's a Jaguar. That's crazy. Would you guys get in that thing? Not me. If it got in an accident, who's liable? Like, that's crazy, man. That's scary. I couldn't do that.
A crazy futuristic looking deal.
Where is that?
Before we get too caught up in the doomsday scenarios, let's take a step back and look at how AI is already integrated into our daily lives. We see AI in the convenience of self-driving cars, algorithms that curate our social media feeds, and even in healthcare, where it's being used to detect diseases and predict patient outcomes. Self-driving cars, in particular, are often seen as a revolutionary step toward a future where AI could handle our most dangerous tasks. Imagine a world where car accidents caused by human error are a thing of the past. Companies like Tesla and Waymo are pushing this reality closer with each passing day. But there's a flip side.
Somebody
The more we
hack our
rely
car,
on
we're
AI,
done.
the more we hand over control
That's-
of important decisions. It's one thing to trust AI to recommend a Netflix show, but what happens when AI is making life and death decisions? For instance, if an AI algorithm in a hospital determines which patients get prioritized care, who's accountable if something goes wrong?
Exactly. Let's take over a London coffee shop. Is that for real? I guess it is. AI robots take over a London coffee shop? Wow.
And speaking of control, let's touch on one of the most debated questions in AI. Could robots ever become sentient? Right now, AI systems are incredibly powerful, but they don't have thoughts, emotions, or desires, at least not in the way humans do. But some scientists believe that as AI continues to evolve, we may eventually reach a point where machines gain consciousness. And that's when things get really complicated.
I don't think you just gain a consciousness. That's unique to us humans, I would think. Well, I can't even say that because we don't know what else is out there. But I definitely don't think no machine could get a consciousness. Not unless it was somehow infused with a human or some type of DNA somehow. Which I'm sure they're probably already working on that too.
If we create machines that are self-aware, they might start developing their own goals that don't necessarily align with ours. What if a sentient AI decides that human limitations are holding it back? Or worse, What if it views us as a threat to its existence? While this might sound like the plot of a Hollywood blockbuster, it's a real concern that some researchers are grappling with today. The idea of a rogue AI is not entirely out of the question, but even without sentience, AI is already threatening to take over a significant part of our lives, particularly our jobs. Automation is already replacing workers in industries like manufacturing, and now AI is creeping into more specialized fields like law, journalism, and even art. Some experts predict that up to 40% of jobs could be automated in the next 20 years. Imagine going to a doctor only to have an AI diagnose and treat your illness. While this could mean incredible efficiency, it also means a massive shift in how we live and work. But it's not all doom and gloom. Some argue that while AI will eliminate certain jobs, it will also create new ones. It's possible that AI could free us from mundane tasks, allowing us to focus on more creative and meaningful work.
That's not
The
going to
real
happen.
challenge will be figuring out how
It
to
would be
adapt to
nice,
this new
but-
landscape and finding ways for humans and AI to coexist. Another major issue that comes with advanced AI is ethics. Who's responsible when things go wrong? If a self-driving car causes an accident, who's at fault? Is it the human behind the
was
wheel,
just saying
the
that.
manufacturer, or the AI itself? These are questions we need to answer as AI continues to evolve. There's also the issue of bias in AI systems. Since AI is created by humans, it can sometimes reflect human prejudices. For example, AI used in hiring processes has been shown to favor certain demographics over others, raising serious concerns about fairness. And then there's the question of whether AI could ever turn against us. We've all seen movies where robots rise up and rebel against their creators. While it may seem far-fetched, the idea of AI going rogue isn't entirely out of the realm of possibility. In fact, some experts warn that AI could be weaponized. Governments are already developing AI-driven weapons, which raises ethical concerns about machines making decisions on the battlefield. Even outside of warfare, AI could pose risks if it becomes too complex for humans to fully understand
Dang, they
or
got
control.
guns for heads,
Imagine
too.
an AI tasked with optimizing a factory's production, deciding that human workers are inefficient, and finding ways to eliminate them. It's a chilling thought, but one that we have to take seriously. So, will robots take over the world? The truth is, we don't know. AI has the potential to revolutionize society, solve some of our biggest challenges, and make life better for everyone. But it also comes with significant risks. The future of AI will depend on the decisions we make today. Will we harness its power for good, or will we create machines that eventually surpass us? One thing is certain, AI is here to stay, and it's up to us to decide how we navigate this new frontier. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of technology.
I appreciate y'all watching these videos with me, taking the time to click on my video. Yeah, thank y'all for leaving comments and things like that. If y'all have any videos y'all want me to react to, just leave them down in the comments. I'll check them out. Yeah, I appreciate y'all's time. Y'all have a good night.